welcome to another reading vlog. For you it hasn't been a while, but I feel like my last vlog was a 2-week vlog because I just wasn't feeling like vlogging. So it feels like it's, and I took lots of gaps, like it was a very terrible vlog. So I feel like I haven't really talked to you for ages, but I'm feeling re-enthused, and you know why? It's because we're now in December, and my December TBR is like a 5-star prediction studded month, including audiobooks I want to read, including the physical books I want to read, and we're already off to a great start because I've already finished one thing this month and it was 5 stars, and I'm 150 pages into a second thing and currently fascinated. So, oh, and a little bit into another thing and fascinated, an audiobook. So far we're already off to a great start, and it's only going to go up from here. We are reading this month primarily for the Clear Shit Readathon, but they're all my physical reads mainly. Though there's a few extras I'm trying to squish in, but my audiobooks aren't for that. So we're just reading like my most hyped current audiobooks, and then books for the Clear Shit Readathon. So actually the first thing I finished wasn't even for that. It was just for me, and entirely for me. I didn't even know it was coming out. I didn't know it existed, but I got it from my library and I'm now gonna go buy a physical copy. I probably would have bought a physical copy already, but April pointed me to the ebook on my library, and I was like, we'll read it there. And now I'm gonna buy a physical copy, and that is Halsey's poetry book. It's called I Would Leave Me If I Could, and I finished it in like basically one sitting today. It was like 2 sittings, but it was amazing. One of the best poetry collections I've ever read. Like, I mean, not surprising because her music is amazing, and her lyricism is spot on, but it was heartbreaking, heart-wrenching, so beautiful, and I think I'm gonna have to go buy myself a physical copy for sure next time I'm in the bookstore. And just 5 stars. It was amazing. I want to like shove it at people. It was so poignant and perfect poetry collection. I'm not a huge poetry person. If you're worried, it is not Instagram poetry in any way, shape or form. It's proper long form, often dark and very emotional poetry, and I loved it. It was 5 stars, stunning, amazing. So that was my start of the month. I'm physically reading this book here. It's called Bats of the Republic by Zachary Dodson Thomas. It is a mixed media. Let me speak. I'll just show you. It is a mixed media text. Everything is in file format, kind of, but like historical files. Like there's letters, historical books, all kinds of things, and it's very mindfucky, very twisty, bendy, but I'm absolutely loving it to pieces so far. Like, if you've ever read S by Doug Dorst, if you've read S, that's like this. It's all bits put together, but S has a very nonsensical thing, and it's got different layers, and they add little bits of meaning, but overall it's very nonsensical and you're trying to like figure out meaning. This is mindfucky but is very readable. It makes sense. It's got 2 timelines primarily. One is in the 1800s, 1830s, when Texas was its own republic, or trying to be its own republic, but Mexico was not accepting it as its own thing, and Mexico was claiming it, probably rightfully, let's be real. But Texas was like, we're our own thing, and the US was like, no, we should have Texas, and Mexico was like, what the fuck, Texas is us. So it's in the midst of all that, this guy, Zadok, his name's Zadok Thomas, is carrying this letter to another guy because the love of his life's dad was like, I need you to take this letter, and if you take it, I'll let you marry my daughter. So he's going off on this like adventure, but also he's environmentalist kind of. He's wanting to catalog the different things he comes across on his adventures. And so he's kind of doing that, but things are going weird. And then there's also a future timeline which is set in 2059, and in that future time, I think it's 2059, maybe 2159, I can't remember now. It's futuristic, it's dystopian-esque, where America's been ravaged and the land is like shit and you can't go outside these specific city-states, and there's like 7 city-states, and each one is, they've put in a system which they call the life course system. And so when you're a parent, you live in a certain place with kids, and if you're a young adult, you live in a certain place. If you're what were the different ones? I'm gonna find it. There's a whole document in here about them that I found very interesting, so I'm gonna find it for you. So there's the city-state of the sun, which is in Montana, and that's for children aged 7 to 14. So that's just children that live there. A life phase, sorry, that they're called. Teens live in Portland, so that's 14 to 21. Young adults live in Texas, which is where the main character in that timeline, whose name is Zeke, lives, and he's the descendant of the other guy. And so he lives in the young adult area. Then there's Twin City, which, where is that kind of, I don't really know America very well, like well enough to tell you what that place is exactly. But so there's a city called Twin City, and that's for married people 28 to 30s. Then there's Atlantis, which is if you want to live your adulthood single, and queers is anyone that's over young adult that wants to be single, or queer people are there. So they're kind of shoved off over there, which is actively discussed. And then there's Salt Lake, and Salt Lake has parents and infants, so 30s to 70. And then City Lake of Lead is Chicago, and that's old people, 70 plus. So everyone lives depending on their life phase in these different cities, which is very bizarre and very interesting. And it's all very Big Brother-y, or at least in Texas, which is where everything's set. And it's implied that it's not the case everywhere, but in Texas, everything is very Big Brother-y. They look at everything that you're doing. They overhear every conversation. They have recorders in your houses and stuff. It's all very fascinating. It's so interesting. I am like drawn in so much just by the world and the different things. Like, I don't know, I bought this because of the mixed media, and I'm a sucker for mixed media in like every shape and form. But it really has like sucked me in with the world building. It also uses sign in the city-state of Texas, because there's all this oversight stuff. They use a form of sign language that's used to overcome them hearing everything you do. So they're not got eyes necessarily, there's like dead spots for the vision of the city, but they can hear everything you say. So a lot of them have hand signals for like follow, follow, and all kinds of stuff. And they're kind of presented on page when different characters are giving hand signals to each other to avoid, like this one I think is laudanum. They're doing laudanum. Yeah, it's fascinating. I'm loving it to pieces. I don't think it's for everyone, which I often say about this kind of weird shit, but I love weird shit. The other thing I'm currently reading is None Shall Sleep by Ellie Marnie. This is a thriller, and it's kind of cheesy in like the setup seems ridiculous, but I'm loving it to pieces so far. It's basically following this girl who was a survived victim of a serial killer. Like, she got out and got him put into prison as a teenager, and now, or like, young adult, and so the FBI's behavioral analysis unit, so basically criminal minds, have approached her because they're having trouble interviewing. So most of their evidence, most of their research that they do is based on interviewing convicted criminals. Like, why did you do it? What was your motives? Blah, blah, blah. But they're having trouble engaging these young offenders, like teen, young adult, juvenile serial killers. they've got asked her and another guy, who I don't really know how he fully ties in yet, but they're a team that are going to interview these serial killers for the BAU, basically. So it's a bit like trippy and cheesy, especially when you consider the actual behavioral analysis unit in the FBI is like a tiny team that aren't given much. Like, Criminal Minds overstates them a lot. Like, especially, you think, like, I know the US has a serial killer epidemic compared to anywhere else in the world. It's very bizarre, but there's still not that many serial killers, and Criminal Minds is like solving a serial killer a week. Like, that's just not true. And this kind of feeds into that, but I don't care. I love it. I'm only like an hour in, but yeah, like an hour in, but I am absolutely fascinated so far. It's so fun and so interesting. I'm enjoying it a lot. But yeah, so that's what I'm currently reading. I'm hopeful to get more than halfway through Bats of the Republic tonight. I've got work tonight, but I'll take it with me. I'm 160 pages currently. My goal is a minimum of 2 to get to page 250 tonight. After that, I don't know. Like, I'm gonna keep reading this tonight. Oh, I was gonna also show you what else was a 5-star prediction on my TBR for the month. Sorry. I've got a lot to talk to you about. It's the start of a vlog and I'm really excited, and this is rare for me. Five-star predictions for this vlog. Oh, if you're wondering, this is the actual cover for Bats of the Republic. This is the dust jacket. Other things that are in this TBR. The Burning God by RF Kwong, which I don't have yet because it's on its way, but it shipped today. Once a Future Witches by Alexei Harrow. I think that could be 5 stars. Maybe, maybe not, but I think it could be. The Alchemists of Loom by Elise Cover, 5-star prediction. The City We Became by N.K. Jemisin, 5-star prediction. I'm really, really excited about some other ones here. Oh, I'm gonna spin it around. Just so like it's not, you get to see what I'm doing without me pulling every single one out. So 5-star prediction, 5-star prediction. Less keen on Far From the Tree by Robin Benway, but I could really love it, but I'm desperately want to read it. It was the last from a set of books I had, so we're gonna read that. City We Became, 5 stars. Rivers of London, again, I think I could absolutely love it. It could be 5 stars or I could hate it, but if I hate it, I can unhold the entire series, which is fun. The Lady's Guide to Celestial Mechanics, I think I'm going to absolutely love. It's a sapphic romance. Candle in the Flame, I think I could really love. It's a slow-paced fantasy, Muslim fantasy, or Moroccan, I think, maybe. And I'm absolutely obsessed with the idea of it. Might not be a 5 stars. It's not quite a full 5-star prediction, but I'm really obsessed with the idea of it. And Fudwell loved it. Plain Bad Heroines by Emily Oldendale is 100% a 5-star prediction. Jinger is like not a 5-star prediction, but I still think I'm gonna really enjoy it. The Two Lost Mountains, again, it's kind of the same. I don't think it'll be 5 stars, but I'm really gonna love it. And Archive of the Forgotten is like sequel to one of my favorite books of the year, so that's gonna be a 5-star prediction. But also, I'm also hopeful to get through. I don't think those will be 5 stars, but I think this could be 5, or at least a high 4. I think this could be 5. I think this could be 5. This is my part of my January TBR, but these I would like to get to if I can. And Over the Woodwood Wall, I think could be 5 stars. Pocket and Stubbs could be 5 stars. Like, I don't know. I'm just so excited about everything that I could be reading this month. So excited. All my babies with me. Hi. I have babies and a baby over there. Mika, come here. Mika. Come here. Come here, you beautiful girl. Yes. Smile for the camera. Smile for the camera. Yeah. Look at this nose. Look at this nose. This snoot. Snoot. Oh. So I look a bit of a hot mess. And I haven't updated you in a while, have I? I cut my hair. I mean, I paid to get a haircut, but I've shoved it up because I've slept on it and stuff. And I'm about to have a shower and get ready, so it will look better in a minute. But I'm just waiting for the shower to be free. But I wanted to update you because it's Thursday morning. and I just finished reading Bats of the Republic by Zachary Thomas Dodson. I ended up giving this 5 stars. I was so impressed. I was saying that I mainly picked this up because it's told in mixed media, and I love a book told in mixed media just for that component. But then the actual plot, characters, world building really surprised me, and I was really fascinated the whole way through. The only thing that like wasn't perfect was that the open-ended ending I didn't quite get. I'd love to talk to people about how they think that works. Like it just didn't leave it in a spot where I like had thoughts. It kind of wrapped up, but I didn't really get it. So that's like the only thing I can critique about this. Otherwise, I loved it to pieces. It's so cool. It's just a fun reading experience with also a lot of nuance and goriness, and oh, it was so good. I loved it to pieces. I'm also about a quarter of the way through Nunchuck Sleep by Ellie Marnie, which is my audiobook. Did I tell you what this was about? I think I said it was about a girl who got picked up by like the BUA, like in Criminal Minds. And where I'm up to, she's just had an interview with a famous young serial killer, and he did all the mind twisty, get in your head kind of stuff. And I'm fascinated because I feel like the plot is holding back a lot of information from you, and I'm interested to see how that all plays out in the long run. I'm loving it. I'm about to start, while I wait for the shower to get free, the Once and Future Witches, which is going to be my next physical read. Alex E. Harrow is a bit all over the place on the internet. I feel like she said some questionable stuff, but I enjoyed her writing style in her first book, even if I do think there were some things that were weirdly handled. So I'm gonna give this a try. I think I could really like it, but I'm going in with a critical lens, so we'll see. But yeah, I think I'm gonna start that now and see how far I get. We'll see. Hi, it is Saturday. I did some lives. I did a live reading spent this morning on my channel, and I was reading, I'm still reading, Once and Future Witches by Alex Harrow. I'm about 100 and something pages in, 116. I'm also about almost halfway through Nunchuck Sleep by Ellie Marnie. I'm really enjoying both of them actually. This, I was gonna go on a rant earlier and I forgot all about it. My rant for this is that once again I feel like Alex Harrow wants to be diverse but doesn't know how to be diverse. I don't know, there's some characters, coloured characters in this that I feel like it might change, but I 100% currently feel like they're only used to further the white characters, and don't have any agency in the narrative, if that makes sense. Like if one of them's fridged, not gonna be surprised. But the magic system is interesting. I'm intrigued, but that I noticed that. Nunchuck Sleep I'm loving, except for the fact that, as usual, crime thrillers, you have to do a lot of research as an author for a crime thriller not to bug me, because I did a forensic science degree. I am a forensic science graduate. Not that I'm working in forensic science, but I know a lot, and things just like, unless you really research those things that don't make logical sense. The one that got me in this that I was screaming about for like half an hour was that they said they made some logical leaps that didn't make sense. Like they were saying the main characters, the victims were being drained of blood, and they said, is he checking their blood type? Like, is he testing for their blood type or something? They're like, no, he can't be testing for blood type because that requires complex chemicals and analysis in a lab. But he, like, ethers them to put them to sleep, knocks them out with ether. So maybe he's a doctor because he has access to ether. Just saying. I know this isn't common knowledge really, but blood typing is really easy. It requires one liquid, and that is the antibody solution. And you just pop it in and you see if you see agglutination. Like, you don't need complex equipment, you just need the chemical. It's not even a chemical, it's just like antibody liquid, like bottles of antibody. And if you had access to ether because you're a doctor or you're pretending to be a doctor, you'd have access to antibody liquid. Like, and you could do it at home. I've done it at home. Well, I haven't done it at home. I've done it in a lab, but it's like the most chill lab. Like, you can use like petri dishes, but you just need something clean to put a few droppers of blood on and a few droppers of the liquid, like, and you just see whether it agglutinates or not. It's not complicated. Obviously in a lab you would do you do positive controls and negative controls, so something that you know is going to agglutinate and something that you know is not going to agglutinate. Agglutinate means like clumped together. So you do something that you know will and something that you know won't, just to like check your process is working properly and your antibodies aren't shit. But as long as they behave appropriately and then your thing does the thing, and really if you're being dodgy you don't even need your controls because the reaction's gonna happen. Like, it's all just not something that you need complex skills. You just need to be able to pipette a little bit, like, or drop a little bit. You don't even use a proper pipette, you use like a little normal pipette, not anything fancy, and have something clean to put it on. And the like 1, 2, 3 really different factors, A, B, and rhesus, which is your negatives, positive negatives. Like, you don't need to know this, but all I'm saying is, like, it didn't make sense. That shouldn't have been ruled out. It's pretty easy to get your hands on. You can steal it from a teaching lab, you can steal it from a pathology lab, you could, like, the logic evades, doesn't it, kitten? I'm having a little pant. Oh, sniff, sniff. Yeah. But otherwise, the psychology of crime stuff in this is really good. So I'm enjoying that. But anyway, for now I'm going to chill out and get ready for work. I have work kind of soon, but yeah. Yes, it's Sunday. Yes, I still haven't finished anything else. I'm working on the Once and Future Witches. I'm gonna try to finish it before I go to work at 7, but I've like 3 things to I'm gonna try and finish it today. Nunchuck Sleep is gonna be finished tomorrow. Yes, but we're dedicated. We're gonna try and finish Once and Future Witches today with my whole chest. We're gonna try and do it. So I'm sitting here working on Once and Future Witches. It's Sunday afternoon, if I didn't say that already. By afternoon, I mean evening. It's like 5:30. I just want to say I'm enjoying this, and I know I said that before, but the premise for this is so murky. World building, interesting, but a little confusing. I'm confused as to what's historical and what's fictionalized, though I'm sure if I was more familiar with the area, I could look it up, but like, it's not spelling that out for me very well. This is set in America in 1893. It's following the suffragist movement in the US, but it's in New Salem. There's a history of like actual witchcraft. Women carry magic, but it's like little magic, and then they're hoping to unlock greater powers, but also men carry little magic too. Like, that's really common, but everyone doesn't talk about it. That whole world building is really unclear to me about like the role of little magics in the world, because it seems like everyone can do them. You just need to know the words and what to do, and they happen. So like, if you have the right things put together and you say the right words, like, I don't know, the right feathers, and you say the right words, you'll get a thing. And they're passed, like, these are little rhymes passed down from mother to child. But then what's the big magic that they're trying to get? I don't know. Yeah, I'm like 200 pages in, and I feel like the world building is very interesting within the small sphere, but doesn't have good contextualization. Does that make sense? Like, there's groups that are like, no witchcraft, and they're calling their little magics witchcraft, but all women and men have little magics if they've been told from their parents. And it's like everyone's been told from their parents. They all have different little bits that they can kind of do, but they just don't associate value with it because it's just a few little cantrips kind of thing. So I don't know how that ties in with the word. Like, it doesn't logically make sense to me, if that makes sense. But the character connections, really interesting. Like, the character work in this is fun. And I'm really intrigued and absorbed by that. But plot-wise, world-building-wise, well, like, it's very lush. But logical? I don't know. I'm not sold. But the writing's really pretty. And but yeah, I am also, yeah, I was saying earlier, I'm a bit concerned that there's going to be a bit of black and indigenous voices just for furthering the white characters without any depth. But at least they're not really protagonists, like perspective characters in any way. But we have a main character, main love interest, I would say, that's black, but I would not be surprised if she's shelved or fridged. So we will see how that all plays out, I guess. I don't know, but I'm gonna keep reading. I did take a nap, so I'm hoping to still finish this tonight, but I'm less on track than I would have liked to be because I took a little nap, but that's how I'm feeling. That's how I'm feeling. So I just finished Nunchuck's Sleep. What a chaos of an ending. I did really enjoy it. I gave it overall 4 stars. I don't think it was a perfect thriller. I didn't have that full sense of wow at the end, but I think it was pretty well executed for a YA thriller. Because like, generally YA thrillers tend to be a little bit more predictable, less surprising but satisfying. Like, I don't want to not be able to see how things got to where they were, but I want a level of surprise, and YA thrillers don't provide that very often, but I think this is on the better end of a YA thriller for sure. There's some glaring for TV effect things, but that's very common in, I'd say, the crime genre, like crime thrillers, especially around serial killers. Like, just the logistical stuff is very over exaggerated. But that's pretty common, and not unique to this book in any way, shape or form. I thought the characters were really interesting. I definitely want to see more in this world. I'd be super interested. And basically, if you like Criminal Minds, I think you'll like this. Like, I think it holds up to Criminal Minds level pretty well. Which is kind of what it's trying to be, like a young adult Criminal Minds. And in that regard, I think it did a great job. So I gave it 4 stars. It was pretty good. I liked the way it played multiple serial killers off each other. It was really interesting. Yeah, I had a great time. I would definitely read more following the same main characters in this world. And I would be very excited to. Is it a series? I don't know. Like, is there plans for more? Like, nothing I can see, but I would totally, yeah, like, read more from this author in this world. I have about 150 pages left now of Once and Future Witches and nothing to do tonight, so I am going to sit down and slam through this, and we can wrap up this vlog and move on to the next one because it's Monday afternoon, or Monday evening now. It's like 7:30. I've just taken the dog for a walk, which is how I finished the audiobook. Yeah, that's the plan. I'm going to sit down and finish this, and then we've got some things to move on to. The mini boss battles, the next round, I realized I feel like it's a turtle. The next round of mini boss battles was announced, and my strength gave me a book that I've been putting off. So I wasn't sure what to do for this at first. Obviously none of the things I've been trying to squish into my TBR are going to work because they're like highly anticipated. I'm not putting them off. But I ended up going with, let me reach for it at this awkward angle. I ended up selecting We Unleashed the Merciless Storm, and my theory behind this is that this came out at the start of the year. It's a sequel to in a duology, so finishing this would wrap up the series, and I've been meaning to read it all year. And it's not that I've been putting it off intentionally, just it kept being bottom of the list and kept not getting prioritized, if that makes sense. So that kind of counts as putting off, but not like, I haven't been intentionally putting it off. But I don't think I've intentionally put off anything on my shelves. If I don't feel like reading something, I just unhaul it. So this was my closest theory. Something that like just kept ending up low priority. But really shouldn't have been. So we're going with this. And this is going to be my next physical read once I finish watching some Future Witches. And then if you've been following my saga, I DNF'd Blood and Honey last month. I tried to read it physically around Believathon and it just did not work. I read like 20 pages and was like, I'm not enjoying, don't feel like I'm into it. But I'm going to try listening to Blood and Honey on audiobook by Shelby Mahone. I'm not sure how it'll go. We might still DNF it again. But we're going to give it an attempt before I yeet it into the sun. So I did really enjoy book one. Even though I know it has a million faults. But I did like enjoy my time reading book one. So I do hope to enjoy this in audiobook form. It was a bit of a like wrong moment for me reading it physically. Like I was so distracted. It felt like a chore. So I didn't want to do it. If that makes sense. So we're going to try audiobooking this. That's my next audiobook. And this is my next physical read. But we'll tune in with both of them next vlog. But if you wanted like a heads up as to what's going to be in that vlog, those two will definitely be in it. If not some more things, hopefully. But I'm going to sit down now and finish Once and Future Witches. Well, it's Tuesday and I finished the Once and Future Witches this morning instead of last night. We're going to wrap this vlog up here. I'm going to tell you about it and then we're going to wrap this vlog up and start some new things in the next vlog. I ended up not loving this, but I didn't hate it either. It was good, but not great, if that makes sense. I think there were some problems. At least the black love interest did not get fridged, which I was really scared about. I do think I would not call this a representation book in any way, shape or form, but there's characters of color, black, indigenous, though very side characters, not main characters. So obviously, like, if you count the love interest as a main character, I would argue there's a level of a trope which I didn't know was a thing, but I guess I feel like I just have not been exposed to the type of media that uses this on a lot, but the like magic black woman saving the day trope is definitely a little bit in here. The plot and the pacing of this I think was its biggest downfall in enjoyment factor for me. It didn't have a driving end goal plot. It kind of meandered its way through and the twists and turns really changed the direction of the plot a lot, to the point that it kind of lost drive. They weren't twists, they were like, oh, and now the whole plot is moving in a different direction. Or like where you can see the plot going dramatically changed. And it really didn't have a driving plot for me. It took me like 5 or 6 days to read this, and I was expecting it to take me like max 3, and it just took ages because it didn't drive. It was hard to keep pushing to read it. It was really easy to like get lost and look away from the page. The writing itself was really lyrical and pretty, which is true of everything I've read from Alexia Harrow. But yeah, the pacing didn't work great for me. I thought the characters were interesting but pretty tropey, but that arguably was intentional. This does have a sapphic relationship, which we've talked about with the love interest. Sapphic biracial relationship, interracial relationship, what am I saying? And There's also talk of abortion and single parenting and like mainly sister bonds, but it was the character dynamics were probably the most interesting thing. The plot was interesting but not enough to drive me forward, and the writing was beautiful. So so many things I didn't love, but like I didn't absolutely despise it either. I'm glad that she didn't choose to have main character narrative that could arguably be a person of color writing as a white person, which I'm sure is like explained away in her first novel by the fact that the main character is not from our universe. But I just didn't love it. I don't know, I feel like I don't know who to recommend it to. I do think it was an enjoyable read. I probably wouldn't reread it, but yeah, it was fun. I give it a 4 stars, but it's like a low 4 stars. Somewhere between a 3 and a 4, not a 4 and a 5, in my opinion. So that's it for this week's reading vlog. I know it went a little over a week, but I mean, I'm sure I don't have that much content anyway. For it, I'll be chatting to you very soon with another reading vlog. And we'll be doing that. So thanks for watching. Let me know how you've been reading in the past week or so, and I'll see you soon with another video. Bye!